Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 10 of our F1 22 Haas Road to Glory. Yesterday we return ready for the home of Formula 1. Yes, it's the British Grand Prix of course. If you missed that on the last video that went live earlier on in the week from Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, would definitely recommend going back and checking it out. Up and down, I think it's safe to say, the first few races of the Haas Road to Glory in Canada. Yeah, certainly at its high points as well as its low ones last time out there. But of course, as always, though, a massive thank you to all of you guys for the continued support on the channel at the moment. You know, 75k, we're just about to tick through that as well. We're making big progress, of course, towards 80k and the big goal of 100k by the end of the year there. You can see lots of upgrades in the works, which should bring us back in line with McLaren and Alfa Romeo. There is no Mercedes and Red Bull not too far away in the championship either. Speaking of which, Charles Leclerc still leads the way now, 34 points clear of his teammate Carlos Sainz. Their Ferrari still dominating the way in the Constructors' Championship. We have closed down the gap slightly to Fernando Alonso and Alpine there, just 4 points and 5 points respectively as we head to Silverstone this weekend. But of course, yeah, still struggling a bit with the new patch, but Silverstone I feel like should suit our car quite nicely, so fingers crossed this weekend we can try and have a bit of a better run than we did at Canada. Before we jump into that though, I just wanted to let you know of a brilliant competition going on hosted by Imperium Experiences. Have you ever wanted to attend the Italian Grand Prix? Yes, the home of Ferrari, the Temple of Speed, and of course the mighty Tifosi. Imperium Experiences are offering you the chance to win 2 tickets for the weekend and a 3-night stay at a 4-star hotel. All you have to do is enter their competition on their site linked down below in the description or my bio, and you could be off out to Monza. The competition is limited to just 900 entries however, and closes on the 6th of August, so make sure if you want to get involved to do it as soon as possible. Currently they're also offering an extra promotion where if you buy 2 entries you get a 3rd completely free, increasing your chances to win at an incredibly cheap price. They even have a handy guide on their site on how to enter, so I would definitely recommend checking it out, and a massive thank you to them for sponsoring this video. Right, well here we are then, back at home, at least for me, not quite the team. Of course, Haas this year, they do get 2 home Grand Prix, so I think it's only fair that we get one as well. They're on what a home circuit it is, Silverstone, you know, so iconic. And yeah, really, you know, I think in the ground effect cars it is a whole new ball game, but still very good fun. And of course, in a car that's known for being pretty quick down the straights, I really do feel like we've got a good fighting chance this weekend, you know, to comfortably, you know, maybe if things go right, we could jump Alpine overall in the championship. But of course that starts with a good qualifying session here on Saturday. No sprint weekend of course in 2022, however, you know, it would have been interesting to see how the cars would have gone on in a sprint weekend here at Silverstone as well. Definitely a little bit wide as we head down in towards, I'm gonna say Luffield. I know if I get it wrong I'll get about 8 people jump down my throat, but yeah, pretty certain that's Luffield that we were heading into there. But as we head through Colts Corner, down to the 1 gear. Oh, didn't quite hang on to it the way I would have wanted to there, but the lap must go on. That would, Niels Wittich would certainly not want to see that, however. Breaking down in towards the final chicane, just as you head out over the little bump there, the 100-metre board, to try to avoid the curbing, or the red curbing through these final couple of turns up towards the line. And we go P3, we split the Red Bulls, so maybe we've got similar pace then to what we had at Baku. But I will take that at the end of the first run as Albon goes up to P6. Well, it's quite clear that the Red Bulls aren't as fast as I anticipated them to be there. Max Verstappen currently down in P13 is certainly, I'm sure, not where the Dutchman would want to be. But we're going to head out then for our second run here at qualifying. The first lap didn't feel bad, but it certainly wasn't as quick as it should have been. There's definitely a few more tenths at the very least on the table. I think if we can get the car nestled back inside the top 10 this weekend, that'll be quite nice. Of course, yeah, really want to try and make sure they get a nice dialed lap in there. Turn 1, turn 2, obviously completely flat. Turn 3, brake at the curbing on the way in. And then as you head out through the second part of the loop, really just trying to keep it clean and tidy as you put the power down there. A 10th up as we head out of the first sector, and probably the best sector I did on that previous lap. 50-meter board down into sector 2. Kept it a little bit tidier than last time around. There's the car always wants to break free. Even in 4th gear through that short little squirt of power, it's constantly trying to over-rotate round on me, but luckily he managed to snap it out once more there. Down in towards Cops Corner. Again, just going to go down the 1 gear, turn in a little bit earlier. Took a bit of grass that time round, and certainly didn't get the best run that I would have wanted, but was still in the green. So you hold your breath as you head through Maggotts and Beckett's there. Down 1 gear, down another. And then down into 5th as you try and get as close to the wheels on the grass on the exit there. Really slingshot your way down at the hangar straight here. Just a handful of corners to go on the lap, but still certainly not a chance to breathe just yet. There as you tip it in 5th gear. Oh, I'd put the car right on the curbs and the white line there on the exit. Through the final chicane there, way too much curb on the way in. That's going to upset my rhythm on the way out there as the back end tries to break free up to the line though. It's P10. We're fractions away from Mick, though, in P8. But that felt like a much better lap. There's definitely a 27 in it, though. Well, less than a minute then left on the clock as we get ready to start our 3rd and final run here from qualifying for the British Grand Prix. Only a 10th separates us from Fernando Alonso up in P7, so this could really make or break our weekend there as we try and put the power down out of the final corner. Gonna really need to try and sweat this time round as we need to get a lap dialed in there. No mistakes, perfect precision. Glide over that first curb on the inside of turn 1. Rattle over the curb through turn 3 though. That's certainly not going to do me any favours early on this lap there as we try and get the throttle down on the exit. A 10th down this time round. They're really not the run we would have wanted through the first couple of corners. We're going to have to dig deep and try to find more pace. Still just not quite finding the time I would have wanted though at the moment. It's going to have to go super brave through Maggotts and Beckett's there. Don't get the tidiest run though on the way in, and this might basically be our qualifying lap done and dusted there as we take far too much grass on the exit. It is all coming undone right towards the end of qualifying. I think we're still going to end up P10 here as we can absolutely blitz our way through the final couple of corners. Oh yeah, the grip is completely falling apart there. 3/10 down as we head down through the final couple of turns there. Completely overdrove the car in the second half of the lap. We know there was a bit of time to find through the final corner, but it's nowhere near enough. It's P10 though at the end of qualifying. We'll still take that. Well, there we go then. Charles Leclerc in a league of his own at the end of qualifying there. 3/4 of a second clear of the McLarens of Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo in P2 and P3 there. Carlos Sainz 4th ahead of both Mercedes, but look at that. Alonso down to myself. 7/100ths of a second was the difference between 7th and 10th place there. But yeah, Max Verstappen really struggling down in P15. Sebastian Vettel's picked himself up a 5-place grid penalty. Not sure what he's done to deserve that. No, I don't want to restart, thank you. What has Seb done? Apparently Seb collided with me, and I've got no recollection of that happening there, so not too sure about that one. But anyway, let's get into it then here for the British Grand Prix. Apparently I've accidentally screwed Seb without even realising. This channel is proudly sponsored by Bybit, the official crypto partner of Red Bull's Formula 1 team. I've been using their platform for my personal crypto savings over the last few months, and when they got in touch to support the channel, I was super excited. Currently, they're offering you guys a special new promo for the first 100 of you to deposit $10 or more onto the platform. You'll get another $10 free. Also, 5 lucky winners will get their initial deposit doubled up to $1,000. That means if you deposited $1,000 onto the platform using my codes below, you could be within a chance to get another $1,000 completely free. We've seen the landscape around crypto drastically change over the last couple of years, and I genuinely believe it holds an important place in our future. However, please be careful as always when trading, as you are liable to lose money. But if you're interested and you're 18 or older, click the link down below to get started and see why Red Bull and myself, as well as thousands of others, trust Bybit as their crypto.
We return once again then to the home of British motorsport and the birthplace of the Formula 1 World Championship. It's race day here at Silverstone, and it's time for the British Grand Prix. The 3.6-mile-long Silverstone circuit is one of the longest of the season, with 18 corners in the current layout. With average lap speeds reaching around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the quickest tracks of the year. Watch out for cars taking the right-handers of Abbey and of Copse flat out. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Sainz, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Russell, Fernando Alonso, Mick Schumacher, Perez, and Mr. Monaco, Bottas, Ocon, Pierre Gasly, and Joe, Verstappen, Albon, Yuki Tsunoda, and Lance Stroll. Latifi and Sebastian Vettel starts from the back of the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Joining me for the Grand Prix once again is none other than Anthony Davidson. Can we begin by having a chat about Charles Leclerc? That was a great win in the last race, but can they keep that momentum going into this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
I know this is your home Grand Prix, but treat it like any other race. Let's not make any unnecessary risks.
I mean, we won't take unnecessary risks, Mark, but we're certainly going to be aggressive down in towards Turn 1. Here we are, though, on the grid, ready for the British Grand Prix, round 10 of the year here from Silverstone. I must admit, very, very much looking forward to getting into this one today. Feel a lot more confident than we did at Canada, and I certainly think, you know, a top 7 is on the table, depending on, obviously, the race pace of those Red Bulls. But of course, yeah, we must get on with it here today. 26 laps around the British Grand Prix and just an extra one to try and put some heat into the tyres. Right round in the final couple of turns then, luckily, George Russell even and Zhou Guanyu far enough away from each other on the grid this weekend that hopefully we won't see so much carnage as we head down towards Turn 1. But we got our teammate Mick Schumacher just in front of me. I mean, Latifi started P10 here in real life and got off to a pretty good start. Maybe we can emulate Latifi himself. But let's get into it then. Right, well, here we are then on the grid, ready for the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. 5 red lights, and it is going to be lights out, and away we go. Not my best start in the world. There's the car still trying to break free in 4th gear as we head down towards Turn 1 there, and Bottas lifting out a lot more than I immediately thought he would, down in towards the first corner. What on earth's going on? Sergio Perez seemingly a little bit all over the road. Mick Schumacher, look at that straight pastel plan. And Mick Schumacher up in the 7th place then, so that's critical from our teammate at the start of this Grand Prix as we go on the fight back on Valtteri Bottas. They're still on the outside of me. Make sure we just about give him the room on the exit of the loop there as we drag race our way down in towards Sector 2. You can see Sergio Perez up 1 spot as well ahead of Fernando. Fernando Alonso really not having the start he would have wanted there as we slam the door on Valtteri Bottas. But Alonso won always to fight back in Formula 1 there. As you can see, Sergio Perez just slots back into P9. So it only really is Mick Schumacher has made the gains at the start here. One of the Mercs has got the jump on, I'm guessing, Daniel Ricciardo as we head through Copse corner there. Just running a little bit wide on the exit. You can see the Red Bull of Sergio Perez all over the back of the Alpine here as we head through Maggotts and Beckett's. Could we try and go slow in, fast out? Get a bit of a run down the back straight there. Might have helped if I was in the right gear. To be honest, as Bottas still all over my gearbox as we head off the corner there. Here goes Perez though. Oh no, Alonso absolutely not wanting to give him an inch there down the end of the hangar straight. I mean, look at Mick Schumacher really getting in the battle with the big boys today. They're up the inside of George Russell he goes, so it must be Hamilton that's got the jump on Daniel Ricciardo there. Charles Leclerc still leads the way at the end of that one there as Mick Schumacher trying to look around the outside of George Russell back down towards Turn 1. And can't quite make it work that time around there. I think the Mercedes just got a little bit too much poke. It's really weird to see Red Bull struggling as much as they are this weekend. I mean, like we said, it'll be interesting to see where Max Verstappen can recover to in the Grand Prix today. But we need to try and get past Alonso. That, of course, is our big goal there. You know, if we can head towards the summer break ahead of Alpine and Fernando in both championships, I could walk away quite a happy man as we head down through the end of the middle sector. Still struggling a little bit with the oversteer, like I mentioned. just in that change of direction. That's one thing this Haas car doesn't like, is quick changes of direction there. But yeah, like I said, we've settled into P10 at the moment. Perez now up the inside of Alonso through the old turn one there, and I think there was a tiny bit of contact between them. Certainly not quite Hamilton Verstappen from last year, but as we head through Maggots and Beckett's once more, we just can't quite seem to get the car where I need it through there, as that is not going to help me on the exit. Bottas now going to be on the offensive, but we should just about have the top end speed, especially as there's still no DRS. I already see Perez on the offensive on Mick Schumacher as Fernando Alonso started to lose touch from the Red Bull there, but still really struggling through Maggots and Beckett's. If we want to try and get a run on the Alpine, we'll certainly have to be a lot better through there. But here comes Sergio Perez then, around the outside of our teammate. They're 2x2 up the road. So I think that's got to be George Russell battling it out with Daniel Ricciardo there, as Mick just slots back into P8 then of the Grand Prix. Like I said, I always wondered how quick that Red Bull would still be in Raystrom there. But it is 2 Haas against 1 Alpine. Ocon out of the picture at the moment, I think still down in P13. But yeah, we need to try and go on the offensive. There we go, that's what I'm talking about. Much better run on Fernando's. We've got yellow flags behind us. Got to make sure we jump him when it goes back to green, which it does there. And immediately we get past Fernando Alonso in this Grand Prix. No idea who's going slowly behind us, as Fernando trying to keep the nose there. We'll give him the room, but we will slot in. This is Pierre Gasly out of the British Grand Prix there. Not what the AlphaTauri man would want, but now we're outside the DRS range of our teammate Mick Schumacher. We need to try and get back in it, unless we want to see Fernando fly back past me. There we go, lap 6. We've worked hard over the last couple, just to make sure we get inside the DRS range of our teammate without hopefully losing too much ERS either. So we certainly have not got much in reserve at this stage of the day, but really does look like the Red Bulls are trying to gain places back up the rostrum. McLaren, though, certainly their pace on Saturday was not quite a fair representative of their Sunday pace. Their Ricciardo already down to 7th place here in this Grand Prix. And I mean, yeah, Lando Norris just hanging on in P4 at the moment, behind Lewis Hamilton. And yeah, Carlos Sainz back up to P2 there. So clearly, yeah, Carlos did not have a qualifying again that was representative of the pace he had. Of course, now in hot pursuit of teammate and big title rival Charles Leclerc. But yeah, Leclerc already, unless we get a safety car, looking pretty comfortable out of the front here, sitting pretty up in the lead there, and he's already built himself up a good little margin. Yeah, at the moment though, just debating what we should do about our teammate Mick Schumacher. I certainly don't feel like I'm stuck behind him just yet. This has definitely been the closest I've been down the end of the hangar straight, but also, you know, if there's going to be places to be had, you know, I'm sort of thinking Ricciardo just in front. You know, if Mick can get inside his DRS range, or we could slingshot past Mick and into the DRS range of Daniel Ricciardo, that could be quite good. I think we just got to play the team game though at the moment, as we are in a very strong position here to make big gains on Alpine, but of course McLaren at the moment, and making big gains on the pair of us. Come on then, I think we've got to go for it on Mick Schumacher there. Nice big run as we head down the hangar straight. Mick Schumacher's going to see us on the inside. Make sure we get the car somewhere close to the apex, and yeah, maybe you could argue, oh, we did lose out a little bit there, but it was very much a formation style overtake then between the two Haas boys. He's trying to build up a bit of a gap before the pit window there, as I think Bottas and Alonso, luckily, behind him are going to trip over themselves. Because yeah, the gap to Daniel Ricciardo really isn't coming down still at the moment, but it's not going the other way either. So, you know, maybe if he gets a boxed pit stop, something like that, we can close in a little bit more. But that was the other thing I was thinking about. You know, we are probably going to lose a second or so, at least, through the pit window, no matter what we do. So I think if we can just try and build up a bit of a gap over Mick behind, before then fingers crossed we'll have something to defend ourselves. We'll probably end up behind him still, but if we can re-jump him again, that would be good. This team actually wanted me to go to the end of lap 12, but now with the tyre wear warning lights come on, I'm tempted just to box a little bit early. We just got to hope that Mick wasn't planning on it, otherwise, yeah, we are going to completely screw him in this GP. But if we can get a cheeky undercut on maybe a couple of extra cars, that would be quite nice. So we head into the pit lane, brake about there. There we go, nice and tidy on the way in. Luckily, Mick Schumacher not opting to box there, as there goes Max Verstappen up now into P10 then of the Grand Prix. So clearly, yeah, the Dutchman now has moved past Alonso and Bottas in this race, and it won't be long before he's all over the back of our teammate there. As we've only got one other car into the pit lane, and it's one of the Williams. It's optimal on the turn-in. Come on, tidy stop, no!
Moving the left front wheel. I know it's not ideal, mate, but let's try and put it behind us and get back into this race.
Oh, 4.5 seconds there. We're going to be right down in Bottas and Alonso territory then as we head back out of the pit lane. We're going to need a worldie of an outlap here, but cold rubber, that's going to be difficult. There's nice burnouts in 4th gear there as we try and put the power down out of the pits. It's so frustrating because I actually do think, you know, the tyre warm-up is a fantastic feature on F1 22. It's just executed so poorly, the fact the AI just don't get any sort of similar response to yourself there, because of course you just spend the time heading out of the pit lane going, I've probably lost a second in that corner. And of course in Formula 1, a second is absolutely everything as we head out of the final turn though. I feel like the pace has come back together towards the end of this run as there's Bottas then as we head out of the pit lane. In fact, there's Alonso as well, and look at that, it's all gone. We're now behind Fernando and Valtteri in this Grand Prix there, and even Max Verstappen. So if we can recover back into the points today, that'll probably be a win there. Mick Schumacher still yet to box, of course. They will have slightly colder rubber as they head out of the pit lane, but Bottas, he's got the DRS to defend himself. We can't do anything. That being said, though, you know, it's not all bad news here from Silverstone. You know, I know I've mentioned it before, but the fact the AI now are no longer OP through there is a rather nice feeling as Mick Schumacher into the pit lane. Might still be fairly close to our teammate on pit exit then as we head through Maggott and Beckett, so he should be a couple of seconds up the road, shouldn't he? I hope he is anyway. You know, he's got to be the one to try and defend from Max Verstappen today, but can we try and get a run still on Valtteri Bottas as we head down the back straight with her? I'm worried he's not going to really lose the DRS to Fernando, so we might try and make a move happen nice and shortly. So yeah, I think we're going to be back out then in what, about P12 of this Grand Prix once everyone else has made their stop. So Fernando, if my calculations are correct, would still be inside the top 10 there. There's a little bit of oversteer out of the final corner. Let's just wait and see. Everyone else heading back out of the pit lane then. So yeah, back into P12. Mick, yeah, you can see just how much he's gained. Remember, we were about a second ahead of Mick Schumacher before all this, and now we're about, what, 4 or 5 seconds behind? I get the sense Bottas now is about to try and line up a move on Fernando Alonso, but that's probably been the best run I've had through the S's all afternoon there. Is, are we going to see Bottas now try and make something happen? This is perfect. This is what we like to see. So we head down to the end of the hangar straight there, and Bottas really getting his elbows out. Fernando Alonso, though, of course, one certainly that isn't going to yield, as we're just going to sit back at the moment. We've got 3 seconds to Esteban Ocon a bit further back there, as we just never have got the confidence out of this final corner. Go on, Bottas. I mean, I really want to see both of them continue this battle as they head back down through turn 1. They're still side by side between the Spaniard and the Finn, and you can see that out of turn 1, turn 2, they're still side by side. This is incredible racing between Bottas and Fernando. Can we just try and get a big run off the corner there and maybe try and get the better of the pair of them as we head out onto that Wellington straight there? Look at that. We're just getting boxed in there to the outside of Bottas, though, and that is going to be another cheeky double overtake on F1 at 22 there. Just absolutely the door opened up for me, and we're always going to try. I mean, there's opening the door and then there's kind of just shoulder barging it with a running start. That's not what that was in that moment, but a cheeky double overtake puts us back into the points. Mick Schumacher 3 seconds up the road. He might start battling with Max Verstappen quite soon, but we need to break away from these cars behind. This Haas has still got pace. That's certainly not helpful then. No DRS later on in the Grand Prix. We are starting to take a little bit of time though out of Mick Schumacher. He's still hanging on to the DRS of Max Verstappen there. I wondered if Max might be able to drag him a little bit closer to Daniel Ricciardo, but of course, yeah, Silverstone, as we saw in real life, certainly a track you can still overtake at. So Max Verstappen has done quite well today, but that's a lot of curve through turn 1. That was a bit brave, I think. We've got to hope Niels Wittich maybe have his eyes closed just for a second there, but yeah, let's just wait and see what we can do. Still close up the gap to Mick. Not saying this is over just yet. P9 might still be on the table. As long as we take points out of Alpine, though, got to think bigger picture. We'll start in lap 19 then. Gap to Mick now under the 2-second range once more. So we are definitely still closing in on our teammates. You can see another 10th taken out of him through the first couple of turns. But yeah, if we can get within the 1 second by the time the DRSs come back online. We might still be able to go for a last late race move on our teammate, a bit of a redemption after the team screwed us in the pit stops. Oh no, they reckon the DRS is now back online, so let's go get him, I suppose. Start at lap 21 then, 6 to go here from Silverstone. Daniel Ricciardo now has been jumped by Max Verstappen as well there, so really surprising to see, you know, Lando Norris still battling for the podium. And that's what I did wonder. Mick has got an issue then, the team have confirmed on the car. I never thought we'd be taking as much time out of him as we have been, as I reckon Fernando Alonso might have seen the same fate as well in this Grand Prix, because he's really dropped back into the clutches of his teammate, whilst Bottas is still piling on the pressure against myself. So maybe we're going to have to try and defend Mick from Valtteri for a couple of laps, and just sort of keep him at arm's length, because I'm not convinced Mick Schumacher's going to be able to do much to defend from Bottas if Bottas gets a chance to have a go at him. We're going to have to play the team game here, but I still would love P9. This is the problem we've got. Bottas now has got a big run on me. We're going to have to use a little bit of DRS there and kind of box him in behind our teammate, but Bottas is not going to be one to back out of it there, as I just try and show him a little bit of racing aggression there, as Bottas will slot back in for now. But are we just going to have to accept, you know, Mick Schumacher might have to get shuffled down the order here. 5 laps to go. Trying to defend from a feisty Bottas is no easy feat there, as you certainly don't through turn 1. I mean, this is a difficult thing at the moment. Bottas, anytime he makes a small error, sort of loses half a second or so. It basically only takes him a corner to close the gap back down, as Mick Schumacher still definitely nursing an issue at this stage of the Grand Prix there. There's Bottas! What's happened to Valtteri? He's now dropped behind Fernando Alonso, who might now also drop behind Esteban Ocon in this Grand Prix there. So must have been a bit of a mistake through the S's there from Valtteri Bottas, so I think, yeah, he's not even going to hang on there, so he's lost the place to both Alpines in that moment. And I kind of thought, you know, if we got the jump on Mick and Bottas followed us by, wouldn't it be the end of the world? It would still be frustrating, but certainly wouldn't be the end of the world. However, if Alonso sneaks by, that's not what we need. Now, this has taken on all new meaning there, as we are really trying to play the team game to make sure Alpine don't score. Yellow flags out. Someone's got issues. I think it's a Williams. I think, no, it's an Aston Martin. Please don't say it's Sebastian Vettel. He's not had much luck on this game since he announced his retirement. I think it is, though. That's not fair. Come on, Coders. Can't be seeing this. Oh, no, it's Lance Stroll. We're not going to worry.
Right, they've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring.
Is the car issue the man controlling it? I wonder. Well, I'm back to start the last lap of this, I almost said Hungarian Grand Prix, but of course that certainly isn't right. The British Grand Prix here from Silverstone. Very clear to me now that Mick Schumacher has got those issues sorted on the other car. And Fernando Alonso, I think, like I said, he must have certainly had some small issues as well, because he certainly isn't able to pile on the pressure like Valtteri Bottas was able to there, as Bottas now clawed his way back into 12th place. But what a race it could have been for the Finn there. But can we try and move past Mick Schumacher on the last lap of this Grand Prix? I mean, at the front of the field, Charles Leclerc, he's just dominated this weekend. Pole position, fastest lap by the looks of it, and race victory there. And he's never really had much competition this weekend at Silverstone. Perhaps the Grand Prix he wished he'd had in real life around this venue. It's going to be yet another Ferrari 1-2 as well for their Constructors' Championship. But, I mean, like I said, at the moment, they are absolutely dominating in at both tables. Charles Leclerc, he comes through to win the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. Perhaps regaining the win that he felt he might have deserved last year. Obviously, Hamilton overtook him with just a handful of laps to go. But can we try and get the run on Mick Schumacher down towards the final corner? I spent so much the second half of this race trying to defend our teammate from the other cars there. Are we now going to be able to get a bit of a gift back, as Fernando Alonso is still waiting in the wings to the inside of our teammate? It's a cheeky little move on the last lap of the Grand Prix there. Make sure he's not under pressure from Fernando Alonso there. But what a team effort this weekend. Of course, we need the points a little bit more in the Drivers' Championship, as I almost loop it by myself. But final corner, it's P9. Here it's home.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Well, what a drive that was to take the win for Ferrari today. So, Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari, do it again. So let's review the drivers' standings. Charles Leclerc, currently leading the championship standings, extends his lead even further with this result. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
Often my go-to would be a driver who's managed to pull off an especially impressive feat during the race. However, in this instance, I was more impressed by Max Verstappen's solid, clean driving throughout the event.
Let's move on to the constructors. Ferrari continue to extend the gap at the top of the table. There was also a strong showing from the McLaren team today as they make their way up the standings. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
I cannot believe it. Fernando Alonso, you wily old fox. He did claim the final point from our teammate Mick Schumacher there. It must have been when I got that oversteer out of the final corner. Mick must have had a look around the outside there, backed out of it, and Alonso took it on the line by just 13 thousandths of a second. But Charles Leclerc takes home the dub ahead of Carlos Sainz. Martin slated McLaren's race pace, but Lando Norris still did enough to hang on ahead of Hamilton and George Russell there. Perez and Verstappen recovered to pretty much where you'd expect, despite a rough qualifying there with Daniel Ricciardo, myself and Alonso rounding out the top 10. Any other big surprises further down the order? Just, I guess, Stroll and Pierre Gasly both not making it through to the checkered flag. Championship-wise, though, Charles Leclerc, the gap at the top opens up to 42 points then by virtue of yet another race victory there. Verstappen under more and more pressure from Lewis Hamilton there, and Perez the same from George Russell. We're just 3 points back now behind Fernando, but the gap really should have been 2 at the end of this weekend. There, as you can see, Lando Norris leapfrogs his way up into P11. Of course, yeah, McLaren really trying to make some gains now as Stroll and Latifi last in the Drivers' Championship there. And you can see, look at that, McLaren now leapfrog their way up into P7 overall in the Constructors, tied still with AlphaTauri. But yeah, Ferrari lead the way, 133 clear of Red Bull, who are now just 21 ahead of Mercedes. We're just 4 now back from Alpine as we get closer and closer to the summer break. 3 races to go, of course, before the summer break. So yeah, fingers crossed we can continue on this good little run of form that we've had. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll be back very, very soon with more F1 22 content. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.